They turned him out of Beechworth jail in 1871. He put in 3 long years behind those walls for the stealing of a horse he swore he'd never done. But now he sees the sun and turns his back upon it all. Walk softly, cried the magistrate who counted up the score. Walk softly, cried the turnkey as he clanged the iron door. Walk softly, cried his comrades cringing on that prison floor. But the summer's on the meadow, and the wind is in the gum tree, and the Beechworth jail is many miles behind you.
In a prison ship in shackles, his father reached this land. He stole 1 pig, and for that crime he paid. Inside a cold, dark prison cell, he died a broken man. And he left his wife to curse the crown while his children dug his grave. Speak softly, cried the jailer, laying slop upon his plate. Speak softly, cried the turnkey as he opened up the gate. Speak softly, cried his mother, it's been oh so long to wait. But the summer's on the meadow, and the wind is in the gum tree, and the Beechworth jail is many miles behind you.
They told him it was over, and his song was damn well sung. They told him wild Australia'd have to change,
and he'd better watch his temper, and he'd better mind his tongue.
For the next time that he walked inside those gates, he'd surely hang. Speak boldly, cried his father from the grave in which he lay.
Speak boldly, cried his country, there's a trust that's been betrayed.
Speak boldly, cried his conscience, there's a debt, and it must be paid. That the sun's on the meadow, and the wind is in the gum trees, and the Beechworth jail is many miles behind you.
A sergeant and 3 constables rode out from Mansfield town near the end of last October for to hunt the Kellys down. They headed for the Wombat Hills and thought it quite a lark to be camped along the borders of a creek called Stringy Bark. Scanlon and the sergeant rode away to search the scrub, leaving McIntyre and Lonigan in camp to cook the grub. Ned Kelly and his comrades came to take a nearer look, for being short of flour they wished to interview the cook. Both troopers had a stump alone they were well pleased to see, watching as the billy boiled to make their pints of tea. They joked and chatted gaily, never thinking of a laugh, till they heard the dreaded cry behind, "Rail up, throw down your arms." The traps they started wildly, Mac firmly stood, while Lonigan made tracks to gain the cover of the wood. Brave Kelly muttered sadly as he loaded up his gun, "Oh, what a flaming pity that the bastard tried to run." his mate came riding blindly through the bush to meet a cruel fate. The Kellys have the drop on you, cried McIntyre aloud, but the troopers thought it was a joke and set their horses proud. Trooper Scanlon made a move, his rifle to unsling, but to his heart a bullet sped and death was in its sting. And Kennedy leapt from his mount and ran for cover near, and bravely fought until the last for all that he held dear. McIntyre, his life had staked right off the Mansfield town. He broke the news that made men vow to shoot the Kellys down. So from that hour the Kelly gang was hunted far and wide, until the day they died.
Ned Kelly was born in the ramshackle hut. He battled since he was a kid. He grew up with bad men and duffers and thieves and learned all the things that they did. Young Kelly'd ride in from the backcountry hills, ride into town like a lord. He stole all the cockies' fine horses and then took him back for the reward. At 16, young Ned was a wild, reckless lad, rubbed coaches and trains without fear, till one night they caught him red-handed and then sent him to jail for a year. But when he came out, he was bitter and hard, and worse than he ever had been. He robbed and he plundered, became a tough guy, the toughest Australia had seen. He shot down the troopers who came on his trail, laughed at the price on his head. 10,000 pounds for the whole of the gang, and nearly 2,000 for Ned. The bank at Jerilderie next caught his eye. This job brought him lots of renown. They weren't just contented to hold up the bank, they stuck up the whole bloomin' town. Then down at Glenrowan they held up the pub and were having a drink and a song. The troopers rode up and surrounded the place. The Kellys had waited too long. Well, Ned come out shooting, a gun in each hand, and wearing his armor of steel. 12 times he was wounded before he fell down. Nevermore would he plunder and steal. They took him to Melbourne and nursed him to health. The judge says you're guilty to Ned. A rope from the rafter, the sun in the east, and the famous Ned Kelly was dead. Some say he's a hero, he gave to the poor, while others a killer, they say. But to me it just proves the old saying is true, the saying that crime does not pay. But when I look round at some people I know, and the prices of things that we buy, I think to myself, well, perhaps after all, poor old Ned wasn't such a bad guy.
noted Kelly gang I do intend to sing, for they're famed throughout this country, now in rhyme does ring. Their daring deeds of bravery, unknown throughout the land, proclaim those true bush rangers are the noted Kelly gang. In the mountains of Strathbogie, where they fearlessly do roam, their caves for hiding places, the bearing winds their home. Their bright and happy days have spent, but now for life they stand. For the bobbies of Victoria now haunt the Kelly band. There was Lonigan and Scanlon, Kennedy and McIntyre, went out to trap those highwaymen with orders for to fire. And fire they did courageously, as you can understand. But McIntyre returned home from the gallant Kelly band. Now 1,000 pounds is offered if taken alive or dead, for the prince of all bush rangers is that hero Kelly Ned. 500 each for Hart and Burn, the same for Kelly Dan. They're worth their weight in gold, my boys, the gallant Kelly band. We are sure to have them yet, these bobbies all do say. We will shoot those daring highwaymen all on the Queen's highway. We have hemmed them in, they cannot escape, for their capture we have planned. They'll safely rest in Pentridge yet with the gallant Kelly band. Now like bloodhounds those trackers their footsteps for to trace, and detectives on the Murray keenly watch each crossing place. From South Australia